noises that we heard earlier and the lights we saw coming from the room. So how did all these things happen if no one was actually in here? Well, when we didn't get a response back after saying hello, finally, we opened the door fully. And we saw exactly why Gary wanted to keep this room a secret. But not the whole reason. Because inside this dusty old room was a bunch of paintings. All the same types. Portraits of people that looked like they were made hundreds of years ago. But Tyler, why would this be something that Gary wanted to hide so much? Well, here's the thing about these paintings. They weren't just normal portraits. The weird thing about them was that on every single one of them, the eyes were punched out. And not with paint. It was as if someone got a knife and poked a hole through it. What in the world did all this mean? We had no idea yet. But why would this be something that Gary wanted to hide? There obviously had to be a bigger story about these paintings for why he was so overprotective of them. Or maybe this wasn't even the reason that he didn't want us coming in here. Maybe there was something else. Because remember, like I said, there was a light moving around in here earlier. But we weren't going to stop until we figured out the whole truth. So we kept exploring the room. Fascinated by these paintings, but also trying to find out what that moving light was earlier. After searching every inch of that room, we realized the only thing that was left in here now was dust and these old paintings. Nothing that could explain to us what was actually going on up here or why he didn't want us going in there. That was until, as we're looking at the pictures, the door, which we left cracked, suddenly creaks all the way open. And coming from the gaming room was a bright light with someone behind it. The light flashes in our faces and we freeze like statues in this room full of creepy paintings, wondering if we just got caught and if something bad was about to happen to us. My heart felt like it stopped beating for a solid 5 seconds before the light is slowly lowered so we can see that it's the butler. All I could think was, we're so cooked. Because getting caught in the one place we weren't supposed to go is bad enough. But getting caught by the butler, who already gave us bad vibes that whole night, was worst case scenario. And everyone knows that if rich people have a problem, they'll take care of it by just getting rid of it. And in this scenario, we were the problem. My friend grabbed onto my arm so tight that he was cutting off my circulation, and we both just stood there like deer in headlights. The butler wasn't moving or saying anything, just standing in that doorway with a flashlight in his hand. In that moment, when we were surrounded by all those portraits with their eyes gouged out, everything felt super sinister and dangerous. Like maybe we had just stumbled into something that was way more serious than just something that Gary didn't want to show us. I'm starting to think maybe this butler isn't just some normal employee. Maybe he's the one who gouged out all these eyes. And there's something much bigger going on here. What if he was planning to do what they did to those paintings to us next? They just come right up next to us and go, "Uss." I feel like I low-key sound kind of schizophrenic right now. Let's carry on though. I kept thinking about all these movies where the seemingly normal staff member is the real villain. It's always the one you'd least expect. So after a couple seconds of standing there, completely frozen, the butler finally spoke. But his voice was completely calm and normal. Like he wasn't literally standing in a terrifying room at 2